thoughts have transformed economics. They created behavioral economics. It's the first time I felt this way, that I couldn't get my mind entirely around a character's mind because their mind was so rich, interesting, powerful.
What drew you to the story? What was it about it that you thought, this is my next thing?
It was a response to Moneyball, that I'd written this book about how sports industry was misvaluing the assets, misvaluing the players, and discovered that there were these two Israeli psychologists named Amos, Tversky, and Kahneman who'd done all this work on just this subject. I mean, there's a long list of insights they had about the mistakes people make. Their memory distorts their sense of likelihood of things. People think in stereotypes. They showed the way people's minds react differently to gains than to losses. So if you present a doctor that there's a 90% chance that the patient will survive the operation and then be cancer-free, they are twice as likely, more than twice as likely to perform the operation than if you tell them there's a 10% chance the patient's going to die, which is exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
One is framed as a loss, one is framed as a gain. So deeper inside is they show the way people respond not to things, but to descriptions of things.
When you were writing this book, I saw somewhere you described it as you were a B student trying to write about A students. I mean, what did you learn from it?
There are two things that linger with me. One is an attitude towards human fallibility, that it shouldn't be demonized as much as understood, that we are wired to make some kinds of mistakes. And the other is these characters.
Why do you frame it as a love story? What was it about their relationship that was so special?
They were so passionate about each other and cared so much more about each other than anybody else without having sex that it made me wonder about the importance of sex. I mean, it was that kind of thing. I mean, they were absolutely entranced by each other's minds and didn't want to be with anybody but the other one.
What do you want people to understand about these two men?
It's not so much what I want them to know about them. I want them to think like them, to be able to flip a switch and say, what would Kahneman and Tversky say about this? Because you get very interesting answers when you ask the question.